Most people think change begins with willpower. Joseph Murphy's classic book, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, suggests something deeper. Your outer life is strongly influenced by the ideas, beliefs, and images you repeatedly hold inside. In this video, we will explore the book's central message in a practical, balanced way. We will understand the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, belief, repetition, imagination, prayer, sleep, habits, fear, healing, prosperity, and personal transformation. This is not magic thinking. It is about learning how repeated thoughts can shape emotions, behavior, decisions, and confidence. By the end, you will know how to use your mind more deliberately. Have you ever wondered why people repeat the same patterns even when they want to change? Someone may want confidence, but keeps doubting themselves. Someone may want success, but keeps expecting failure. Someone may want peace, but keeps replaying worry. Joseph Murphy's book begins with a powerful idea. Your mind is not just what you consciously think for a few seconds. Deep inside, there are stored beliefs, emotional memories, assumptions, and repeated suggestions. These hidden patterns influence how we feel, decide, and act. Murphy calls this deeper level the subconscious mind. His message is simple. When you learn to guide your thoughts, beliefs, and inner images, you begin to guide your life. The central idea of the power of your subconscious mind is that the subconscious mind accepts repeated beliefs and impressions, then works to express them through feelings, habits, decisions, and actions. Murphy teaches that the conscious mind is like the gatekeeper. It chooses, reasons, questions, and decides. The subconscious mind is like fertile soil. Whatever is planted repeatedly may grow. This does not mean every thought instantly becomes reality. It means your repeated inner world affects your outer behavior. If you constantly tell yourself, "I cannot do this," your body, confidence, and decisions may follow that belief. If you repeatedly train yourself to think, "I can learn this step by step," your actions may slowly change. Murphy explains the mind using two levels. The conscious mind thinks, chooses, compares, judges, and makes decisions. It is active when you analyze a problem, read a book, plan a task, or choose between options. The subconscious mind works beneath awareness. It stores habits, emotional responses, automatic reactions, memories, and deep beliefs. It controls many automatic processes and influences how we respond before we consciously think. For example, when you learn to drive, every movement feels conscious. Later, many actions become automatic. That is the subconscious at work. Similarly, confidence, fear, discipline, and self-image can become automatic patterns. One of Murphy's strongest claims is that the subconscious mind does not reason in the same way as the conscious mind. It tends to accept what is repeatedly impressed upon it, especially when thoughts are emotional, vivid, and repeated. This is why negative self-talk can become dangerous. If a person repeatedly says, "I always fail," "I am unlucky," or "nothing works for me," these statements may become emotional instructions. Over time, the person may hesitate, avoid opportunities, or unconsciously act in ways that confirm the belief. The lesson is clear. Be careful with the language you use inside your own mind. Murphy repeatedly emphasizes belief. According to him, belief is not just a sentence we say. Belief is something accepted as true at a deeper level. A person may say, "I want success," but if they deeply believe, "I am not capable," the deeper belief often wins. Think of belief as an operating system. Your goals are like apps, but beliefs are the system underneath. If the operating system says, "Danger, avoid, you are not ready," you may delay action. If the system says, "Learn, try, improve," you are more likely to continue. So the work is not only setting goals. The work is changing the beliefs that support or block those goals. Murphy teaches the use of repeated positive suggestions. This is often called autosuggestion. It means giving your own mind a clear, repeated message that supports the person you want to become. But the key is not empty words. The suggestion must feel believable enough to accept. Instead of saying, "I am the greatest person in the world," a beginner may say, "Every day I am becoming calmer, clearer, and more capable." This kind of statement is easier for the mind to accept. Repetition matters. A single thought may pass away. A repeated thought can become a mental habit. Murphy gives great importance to imagination. The subconscious responds strongly to images, feelings, and mental pictures. Before many achievements happen outside, they are rehearsed inside. An athlete imagines the performance. A speaker imagines speaking calmly. A student imagines solving questions step by step. A creator imagines finishing the project. This inner rehearsal can reduce fear and prepare the mind for action. The important point is this: imagination should not become escape. It should become preparation. Imagine clearly, then act consistently. Murphy often says that feeling gives power to thought. A cold, mechanical sentence may not go deep, but a thought combined with feeling can enter the subconscious more strongly. For example, saying, "I am peaceful," while feeling tension may not work immediately. But if you breathe slowly, relax your body, and gently imagine peace, the suggestion becomes more convincing. This is why calm states are important. When the body relaxes, the mind becomes more receptive. Murphy believed that relaxed, focused, emotionally sincere suggestions have more influence on the subconscious. One of the most practical ideas in the book is using the period before sleep. Murphy says that the moments before sleep are powerful because the conscious mind becomes quieter. Worry before sleep can sink deeply into the mind, but peaceful suggestions before sleep can also influence the subconscious. Before sleeping, instead of replaying problems, Murphy suggests repeating a simple idea calmly. For example, "My mind is quiet. I am guided toward the right action." Or, "I release this problem. The answer will come clearly." This is not about forcing results. It is about giving the mind a better final impression before rest. Joseph Murphy was a spiritual teacher, so the book often uses the language of prayer, divine intelligence, and inner guidance. In a modern practical sense, we can understand this as focused inner trust. Prayer, in Murphy's approach, is not begging with fear. It is calmly impressing the mind with faith, clarity, and expectation of good. He encourages people to move from panic to trust, from confusion to quiet confidence, and from fear to inner alignment. Whether a viewer sees this spiritually or psychologically, the useful lesson is the same. A calm, focused mind makes better decisions than a fearful, scattered mind. Murphy warns that fear is one of the most powerful forms of negative suggestion. Fear repeatedly imagines unwanted outcomes. The mind begins to rehearse failure, rejection, illness, loss, or embarrassment. This can increase stress and reduce wise action. The solution is not to deny real problems. The solution is to stop feeding fear with repeated mental movies. A balanced approach is to recognize the risk, take practical steps, and then give the mind a constructive direction. Instead of asking, "What if everything goes wrong?" ask, "What is the next wise step?" The book contains many claims about healing through the subconscious mind. It is important to treat this carefully. A calm mind, hope, relaxation, and positive belief can support well-being, reduce stress, and encourage healthier behavior. But this should not replace proper medical care. A practical takeaway is this: do not fill your mind with fear about the body. Support healing with rest, good habits, medical guidance when needed, and peaceful inner language. The mind and body influence each other. Stress can disturb the body. Calm can support recovery. Use the mind as an ally, not as a substitute for necessary care. Murphy also discusses prosperity. His point is not simply think rich and money appears. A more practical reading is this: your beliefs about money influence your behavior with opportunity, learning, work, risk, and value creation. If someone believes money is impossible for them, they may avoid learning financial skills, asking for fair payment, building a business, or improving their work. If someone believes they can create value and grow step by step, they may become more open to action. Prosperity begins with a constructive attitude, but it must be joined with skill, service, discipline, and wise decisions. Murphy teaches that our thoughts about others affect how we behave toward them. If we constantly expect criticism, rejection, or conflict, we may become defensive. If we practice goodwill, patience, and understanding, our communication often improves. This does not mean tolerating harmful behavior. Healthy boundaries are still important. But many everyday conflicts become worse because the mind rehearses anger before the conversation even begins. A useful practice is to imagine peaceful communication before an important discussion. See yourself listening clearly, speaking calmly, and respecting both yourself and the other person. Murphy's idea of success is strongly connected to inner direction. When the mind is filled with confusion, fear, and contradiction, action becomes weak. When the mind is clear, focused, and confident, action becomes stronger. Before starting any goal, ask, what belief must I hold to move forward? What habit must I repeat? What image should I keep in mind? What fear should I stop feeding? The subconscious mind responds to direction. If you give it scattered instructions, results may be scattered. If you give it clear, repeated, constructive direction, your actions begin to align. Just as food affects the body, mental input affects the mind. Murphy's teaching suggests that we must watch our mental diet. What do we repeatedly consume? Fearful news, gossip, comparison, criticism, hopeless conversations, and self-doubt can all become mental suggestions. This does not mean ignoring reality. It means choosing your mental environment wisely. Read ideas that strengthen you. Spend time with constructive people. Speak to yourself with respect. Reduce unnecessary mental noise. Your subconscious is always listening. Give it better material. Affirmations are a major part of Murphy's method, but they are often misunderstood. An affirmation is not a magic sentence. It is a repeated mental instruction. To work well, it should be simple, positive, believable, emotional, and connected to action. For example, instead of saying, I am instantly successful, say, I am learning, improving, and taking the next right step. Instead of saying, I have no fear, say, I am becoming calmer and more courageous. Good affirmations do not deny growth. They guide growth. Let us convert the book's ideas into a simple 5-step practice. Step 1, choose one area of life. Do not try to change everything at once. Step 2, notice the current belief. What do you keep telling yourself? Step 3, create a better suggestion. Make it calm and believable. Step 4, repeat it during relaxed moments, especially morning and before sleep. Step 5, take one small action that matches the new belief. For example, if the area is confidence, the old belief may be, I always hesitate. The new suggestion may be, I speak one step at a time with calm confidence. The small action may be speaking up once in a meeting. This is how inner change connects to outer behavior. Imagine a learner who wants to start a YouTube channel, but feels afraid. The conscious goal is clear. create videos. But the subconscious belief may be, people will judge me. Because of that belief, the learner delays recording, keeps changing the topic, and never publishes. Using Murphy's approach, the learner first notices the hidden belief. Then they replace it with a better suggestion. I am here to help, learn, and improve. Each video makes me better. Before sleep, they imagine calmly explaining one useful idea. The next day, they record a short practice video. The result is not instant fame. The result is movement, and movement builds confidence. The book's strongest insight is that the inner world matters. Thoughts repeated with emotion can become beliefs. Beliefs influence decisions. Decisions shape habits. Habits create results. Murphy reminds us that we are not passive victims of every old thought. We can question our assumptions. We can change our inner language. We can rehearse better responses. We can feed the mind with courage, faith, and clarity. In this sense, the book is a powerful guide to mental discipline. At the same time, we should read the book with balance. Positive thinking is powerful, but it is not a replacement for action, skill, planning, medical care, financial responsibility, or healthy boundaries. If something does not work, it does not mean the person failed to believe enough. Life is complex. Circumstances, systems, health, relationships, and resources also matter. The wisest way to use this book is not as superstition, but as mental training. Use your subconscious mind to support wise action, emotional strength, and better habits. Here are the key takeaways from The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. First, your conscious mind chooses thoughts, but your subconscious mind stores repeated impressions. Second, repeated inner language can become belief. Third, belief influences emotion, behavior, and habits. Fourth, imagination is a form of mental rehearsal. Fifth, relaxed states, especially before sleep, can make suggestions more powerful. Sixth, fear is negative imagination repeated. Seventh, affirmations work best when they are believable and action-based. Eighth, positive thinking must be joined with practical effort. And finally, the mind should be trained with care, just like the body. The power of the subconscious mind is not about controlling the universe with a sentence. It is about learning to stop planting fear and start planting clarity. It is about choosing better inner words, better mental images, better emotional habits, and better daily actions. Your subconscious mind is always learning from you. Every repeated thought is a lesson. Every repeated action is a message. Every repeated emotion becomes familiar. So ask yourself, what am I teaching my own mind every day? Joseph Murphy's The Power of Your Subconscious Mind reminds us that real change often begins quietly, inside our repeated thoughts and beliefs. When we keep feeding fear, the mind becomes trained in fear. When we repeatedly choose calm, courage, faith, and clear action, the mind begins to support a new direction. Use this book as a practical reminder. Speak to yourself carefully. Imagine wisely. Relax before sleep. Repeat better suggestions, and take small actions that match the person you want to become. Your mind is not your enemy. With patience and practice, it can become one of your strongest allies.